What's up YouTube, this is MathWiz97 and welcome to episode number 18 of my WWE 2K16 Universe Mode. We're here with another edition of Monday Night Raw and another edition of the Cesaro United States Championship Open Challenge. And what some of the matches that already took place, we saw the Bella Twins pick up a victory over the team of Emma and Layla. Naomi scored a win in a triple threat against Alicia Fox and Eva Marie. And the team of Finn Balor and Hideo Itami defeated the team, the Party Animals, Fandango, and Adam Rose. As well as that, we're going to be seeing a King of the Ring qualifying match, Zack Ryder one-on-one with The Miz. And in the main event, the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, Edge, teams up with Rusev to take on Randy Orton and the World Heavyweight Champion, Ryback. That should be one star-studded main event. But of course, we'll get to that when we get to it, as we gotta kick this one off with championship action, as the United States Champion Cesaro is set to take another match, another opponent, another challenge. He did have last week off after his hellacious championship scramble match at SummerSlam. But Cesaro tonight, he's got yet another task at hand. Who's he going to be facing tonight? That is the question that will be answered in just a few moments. But Titus O'Neil, the Intercontinental Champion, has announced that this Thursday on SmackDown, he will be issuing an Intercontinental Championship Open Challenge. Very interesting stuff there from Titus O'Neil. And it was also revealed earlier this week, over the weekend in fact, that Cesaro will be taking on the Intercontinental Champion Titus O'Neil at Night of Champions in a winner-take-all match. No, it is not a championship unification match. It is the United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship up for grabs at Night of Champions, as it's Cesaro taking on the real deal, Titus O'Neil. But look at this! That's if Cesaro can even make it to Night of Champions, because there's the man who he won the title from back at WrestleMania, Alberto Del Rio. He's back in Universe Mode. We haven't seen him since he got the crap beat out of him by Rusev prior to Money in the Bank. But Alberto Del Rio is back, and he has answered the challenge. And just like that, things have changed. Cesaro, he's had history with Del Rio in the past. These two men fought over that title over the course of 4 months. And in fact, Del Rio has defeated Cesaro back at Elimination Chamber when the title was up for grabs. Cesaro, he does have the 3-1 advantage over Del Rio, but Del Rio really is the last man who holds a key victory over Cesaro in a big-time match. And here he is tonight. You can see these two men staring each other down. Oh, and here's Del Rio. The arrogance of the Mexican aristocrat, of Mexico's greatest export, on display right here. And here's Del Rio backing Cesaro up against the ropes. Cesaro bounces off. Oh, but a clothesline! Del Rio just got leveled with that clothesline. And Cesaro, he knows what it takes to defeat Del Rio. He's done it before. But at the same time, Alberto Del Rio could be the biggest threat to Cesaro's open challenge to date. As Cesaro now, Cesaro, he's had some pretty epic opponents in the past. I mean, just to take a look at some of the list of competitors he's faced before: Diamond Dallas Page, Kevin Nash, Daniel Bryan. And then, of course, SummerSlam, Finn Balor, Hideo Itami, Sami Zayn, Heath Slater, Ric Flair. Honestly, Cesaro, he's downed legends. He's defeated current superstars. The list goes on, and each and every week Cesaro continues to make it a bigger and better list. Could Alberto Del Rio be the next name to add to that list? Del Rio, he's had 3 opportunities in the past to reclaim the title from Cesaro: WrestleMania, Extreme Rules, and Over the Limit. And on all 3 occasions, he came up short. Even in one which was the over-the-limit triple threat, which also included Curtis Axel. Alberto Del Rio just unable to reclaim that title, but now he's had time to recover. He's had about a month off to recharge his batteries, to get himself back to where he wants to be. And tonight perhaps could be the night where Alberto Del Rio reclaims his United States Championship. Del Rio, he is a former two-time United States champion. He won the belt for the first time back at the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Look at that arm breaker from the top. Del Rio first won the United States Championship back at the Survivor Series pay-per-view in a battle royal, which also included the likes of Jack Swagger, Big E, Cesaro, Zack Ryder. Alberto Del Rio defeating 5 other men in that matchup. The 6th man, it's not coming to my mind at the moment. Just give me a minute. It'll come to me. This is what happens when I don't have a script. As Cesaro now able to counter Alberto Del Rio. And look at this. Double underhook suplex taken down Alberto Del Rio. Oh, and you know what this means. Cesaro, he's looking for the swing. Oh, but Del Rio, he knew it was coming. He's been in that Cesaro swing before, and that's not a ride he wants to take ever again. He might never get off if he gets on. As he was able to sidestep the European uppercut in the turnbuckle, then takes him down with a backbreaker. As Alberto Del Rio, he's really bringing the fight to Cesaro here. Jumping arm breaker again. Really zeroing in, pinpointing that arm to soften him up for the cross arm breaker. As now Del Rio, we know that in his arsenal he loves to target the arm. Oh my goodness! That's a new one. I've never seen Del Rio use that move before. Just wrenching the arm there and all out of place. Cesaro, he's going to be feeling that one. And now, double knee arm breaker, or almost like a backstabber to the arm. Guess you could call it an arm stabber. As Alberto Del Rio, well, I mean, Cesaro, he's going to be feeling some stabbing pain in his arm after a move like that. That's for sure. As Del Rio, he's just waiting for Cesaro to get to his feet. He's looking to set up the cross arm breaker. And Cesaro could be getting right into it. No, counter by Cesaro. With an elbow to the side of the head of Del Rio. Del Rio in the corner. European uppercut. There by Cesaro. As Cesaro might have just taken Del Rio's head off. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Del Rio's in trouble. Cesaro. He's ready to swing, baby. And it begins. As Alberto Del Rio gets taken around and around and around and around and around and around and around. Cesaro just swung Alberto Del Rio into oblivion right there. And now he's looking to pick up the win. 2, 3, no! Del Rio gets the shoulder up at 2. This match continues. And I gotta say, these two men have a very good track record in terms of putting on a hell of a performance. Their match at WrestleMania, perhaps one of the greatest matches of this year. Definitely a match of the year candidate. As Cesaro drags Del Rio over there into the turnbuckle, placing him now up on the top rope. Oh, Del Rio kicks him off. Look at this. Del Rio with a dropkick, but Cesaro sidestepped it and a European uppercut. What a sequence there between Del Rio and Cesaro. Back and forth between these two men. As Cesaro, you can tell he's still feeling a bit worn out after the championship scramble onslaught at SummerSlam. But Cesaro continues to fight on. A second gut-wrench suplex. And you know what I like to say, everybody loves a good gut-wrench. Especially when it comes from this man, Cesaro. A trifecta of gut-wrench suplexes right there. Cesaro perhaps taking Del Rio to a suplex city of his own. And now here's Cesaro. He cracks the neck. And Del Rio. Good night, Del Rio. The neutralizer connects. As Cesaro hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. There it is, folks. Cesaro spoils the party for the return of Alberto Del Rio. And Cesaro retains his United States Championship. And he survives for yet another week. Cesaro, at this rate, he's gonna make it to Night of Champions. And perhaps he could walk out of Night of Champions the new Intercontinental Champion. that match at Night of Champions certainly is going to be a game changer for both men. I would like to apologize for my actions at the SummerSlam pay-per-view. As the Director of Operations, it is my job to preside over the WWE talent and ensure that no one steps out of line. Last month, I saw Shane McMahon unfairly abusing his power at the detriment of Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was forced to compete twice in one night, so I attempted to rectify that. In doing so, however, I overstepped my boundaries and abused my own power against Dean Ambrose, and I sincerely apologize. Furthermore, I have decided to grant Dean Ambrose a fair, one-on-one rematch with Seth Rollins at the Night of Champions pay-per-view, and to ensure that this match goes down without any interference, I am making it a steel cage match. I ruined Ambrose's first match, so it's only fair that I give him another opportunity. Unfortunately, I'm sure that's not going to be good enough for Dean Ambrose. As such, I am giving Ambrose a King of the Ring qualifying match next week on Main Event, and I will be his opponent. I can't wait for Night of Champions. Things are looking... things are really starting to fall into place now. But even beyond Night of Champions, we've got King of the Ring. The return of King of the Ring. It's its own special episode this time around, and it will be just 2 weeks after Night of Champions. So be sure to stay tuned for that. We're looking to build towards it as we've got our third official King of the Ring qualifying match set to take place right now, folks, as here comes Long Island Ice-Z, Zack Ryder. And Zack Ryder, he's ready to go, ready to take on The Miz here tonight. And of course, Miz, a former Intercontinental Champion in his own right, while we're talking on that subject. But so far, the two men who've officially qualified for King of the Ring are Christian and Adrian Neville. Those are the two men who have qualified thus far. And now we just await the arrival of the Hollywood A-lister, or so he claims. I don't know if that's really true. The Miz. And he's awesome. The Miz, the Hollywood movie star, making his way down to the ring. And The Miz, of course, one half of the Awesome Truth tag team, alongside none other than R-Truth. And Awesome Truth, while they haven't really excelled to anything noteworthy, they have always managed to keep themselves in the mix. They always seem to be in the hunt for the tag team titles. They're definitely not at the lower end of the tag team next to teams like Los Matadores and Adam Rose and Fandango, the Party Animals. Those teams seem to have... And of course, who could forget? Good old Santino Marella and the Great Khali. Yeah, those teams are typically not even in the running. But then we've got The Miz and R-Truth. Awesome Truth, they're at least not to that point. They're in the running. They're still in the mix. They're not the most consistent of teams, but they'll win some matches, they'll lose some matches. They're definitely in the hunt. All it just takes is one hot streak, and they could find themselves facing the Ascension for the tag team titles. But tonight, The Miz, he's focusing on his singles career. He's focusing on King of the Ring. The Miz, he would love to make another outing at King of the Ring. For the second year in a row, Miz could qualify. As last year, he was very quickly eliminated from the tournament at the hands of Bray Wyatt in the opening round. But The Miz, he did manage to qualify, make it into that opening round. It wasn't the greatest of performances for The Miz. He really had as far as luck of the draw goes, he couldn't have asked for a worse opponent. But then again, looking at some of the other superstars in the tournament at the time, you have the likes of The Undertaker, Kane, Cesaro. Yeah, maybe Miz could have had a worse draw. But then again, Miz was just coming off of a SummerSlam victory over Cesaro, so you never know. Maybe if Miz had, in fact, gotten to face Cesaro, this could have been completely different in terms of both men's careers. Cesaro, imagine if he never made it to the semifinals of last year's King of the Ring. where he just barely came up short of defeating The Undertaker. And we know where The Undertaker went after that King of the Ring tournament. He might not have won the whole thing, but he found himself in the WWE title, in a WWE title match the very next month, and pretty shortly after that, he was WWE champion. Perhaps this time around, that's what's the prize is on the line. If you win the King of the Ring, you get an automatic title shot at Survivor Series. And at the moment, I mean, especially with the new... Oh, look at this. A dropkick there from Zack Ryder. But now that Brock Lesnar has just come in and stolen the WWE Championship from SmackDown, I mean, he's official SmackDown superstar now, but Brock Lesnar really taking that title into his own possession. Especially now that you can challenge for any title. It's not just brand exclusive like it was last year. That could definitely be a saving grace for some of those SmackDown superstars. And that's not to count out Ryback at all. I mean, honestly, looking at our two champions at this point, the King of the Ring might not necessarily be a blessing for any of our superstars who might walk out the winner. Either way, they're going to have some stiff competition. But it does give them a little more variety as to who they can face. It's not set in stone who their opponent's going to be. They do have a choice in the matter. Almost like the Royal Rumble. As The Miz kicks out the leg of Zack Ryder, snap DDT. As Ryder driven face first into the mat. Miz now going for the cover. 1, 2, 3. No! Kick out by Ryder. And Miz, he didn't even bother to hook the leg. Do I gotta start getting on superstars again like I did last year and in previous years? People, they don't want to hook the leg is, oh, a snapmare driver. But when people, they get arrogant, they get sloppy, they don't hook the leg, it doesn't take as much energy to kick out. Miz hooks the leg this time, but Ryder still able to power out. Miz with that snapmare driver. Oh, look at this! That almost seems to have fired Zack Ryder up. He's back to his feet before even The Miz. Miz was too focused on, oh my god, I didn't finish this man off, I'm in disbelief. And now look at this, Ryder with a Tiger Bomb. No! Ooh. Just like that, Ryder back to his feet. And Miz, he was almost eliminated from the hunt for King of the Ring. Zack Ryder nearly put him out right there. And now it's Zack Ryder on the offensive. Miz let his guard down, and now a sunset flip from the second rope. 2. No! Another kick out by The Miz. But Zack Ryder certainly has turned the tables, and he's got Miz reeling. A flapjack now, as he takes down The Miz. Zack Ryder, he's really turned this match around in his favor. Oh, and now he's got Miz in position, setting him up for the Rough Rider. Rough Rider by Zack Ryder. And he hooks the leg on Miz. 1, 2, 3. Zack Ryder qualifies for the King of the Ring tournament. Zack Ryder, he had a strong performance against Cesaro in the Open Challenge a few weeks ago. And the WWE Universe, they've been tweeting out the hashtag, give Ryder a chance, push Ryder. Everybody wants to see Zack Ryder succeed. And Zack Ryder, he has lived up to the fans' expectations tonight as he qualifies for King of the Ring. The WWE Universe, they're loving it. Zack Ryder, he has been certainly underutilized in 2015 in this second year of Universe mode, but perhaps he's looking to turn his luck around now that he is qualified for the King of the Ring tournament. It could be a whole new landscape for Zack Ryder. Imagine if Zack Ryder could win the King of the Ring tournament, and at Survivor Series he would be in the main event competing for the WWE or the World Heavyweight Championship. That's what happens with this King of the Ring tournament. It's a huge opportunity on the table if you can live up to it. If you can just make it to the end. If you can become king, you're going to have one hell of a kingdom to rule over. As we move on to the main event for this evening, the Rated R Superstar Edge making his way down to the ring, set to team up with a man who believes that he should be the #1 contender for the world title. Rusev, the super athlete. And these two teams tonight, I'm very concerned about how they're going to work together as units. You have Edge and Rusev, who they're not exactly on the same page. Rusev, he thinks he should be the #1 contender, and now that Edge has won that title, Rusev, I don't think he's going to be very happy with Edge. I certainly don't think he's going to want to team with him tonight. But then on the other side of things, you have Randy Orton and Ryback. And if you've known anything about this series, if you've been around for some time, you know that Randy Orton and Ryback don't like each other. They've got some history with each other in the past. They've feuded over that Intercontinental Championship in the fall of last year. And there's some bad blood there. I wouldn't expect... They're definitely not the perfect team either. So I'm very, very worried as to how this match could potentially turn out. As it doesn't seem as though either of these four men want to team with any of the other. I mean, all four of these men don't like each other. They're just being forced to team up here tonight. I guess the question is, it could just come down to who can have the most patience, who's going to snap first. As the Viper, Randy Orton, slithers his way down to the ring here. And of course, Randy Orton, the newest acquisition to Monday Night Raw following the Brock Lesnar trade. I talked about Lesnar earlier on, but the fact that he just stormed and he just took SmackDown by storm. The former SmackDown general manager panicked, and I mean, he had to get Lesnar over to SmackDown. You can't have your major world championship on the other brand. There's no way you're going to be able to compete like that. But perhaps the SmackDown GM, he gave up a little too much to get Lesnar. And I know Lesnar's definitely a valued commodity. It's going to take a lot to bring him over, but I mean, to give up one of the SmackDown originals in Randy Orton definitely is a big blow to SmackDown. But Randy Orton, this change of scenery could perhaps be the best thing in his career. Over on SmackDown, he had been struggling a little bit to get back into the WWE title picture, and he was even defeated by CM Punk in July. And that was the last we saw of Randy Orton until this trade. But when he came to Raw last week, he made a strong first impression. And unfortunately, that was at the expense of Rusev. So that really just it really adds into this thing tonight. I mean, Orton and Ryback have history. I think the only two men in this match that universe mode-wise don't have history with each other is Orton and Edge, but they were once tag team partners. They were once teammates under the Rated RKO tag team. Every man in this matchup has history with each other. I mean, Rusev and Edge, I'd have to say, maybe have, I guess, the least tension there, but even so, there's some strong emotions there between Rusev and Edge. Rusev, he really wants that world championship, and the fact that Edge is the #1 contender, that Rusev wasn't just given the opportunity like he feels he deserved. Man. It's going to be a tough one to call. I don't know. Place your bets in the comments below. Who do you think, which tag team partner do you think is going to betray each other first? That almost seems like that's what it's going to boil down to in this matchup tonight. Be very surprised if any of these four men really were able to work together. But right now we start this one off with Edge and Orton, both former SmackDown superstars. Edge and Orton, well, Orton's a former world champion in Universe Mode. Edge, he's been in the mix. He has never won the world title in Universe Mode, but he has definitely been up there. You know, he's had opportunities in the past. Actually, Edge, he's had multiple shots at the world title. At Elimination Chamber, he was involved in the world title Elimination Chamber match. He was involved in the triple threat at WrestleMania involving Mark Henry and Christian. He faced Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan in a triple threat at Payback. He faced Dolph Ziggler again in a TLC match at Money in the Bank. And now he's going to get a shot at Ryback at Night of Champions. Edge, he's had quite a number of opportunities over the course of his career at that World Heavyweight Championship. But perhaps Night of Champions could be the night. Edge, he's beaten Ryback before. In fact, that was how Edge became the #1 contender to face Dolph Ziggler at Money in the Bank, was by beating Ryback. And it wasn't easy. Here and a spear from the top rope to put Ryback down for the 3 count, but Edge was able to do it. And then, of course, he's the man who considers himself single-handedly responsible for the injury to Dolph Ziggler's neck. Again, I want to say, Dolph, get well soon. My thoughts are definitely with you in this time. The surgery went well. He's had his surgery sometime last week, and it was a success. Hopefully, Dolph Ziggler, he can be back in the ring sooner rather than later. Definitely. This is a time of change for Monday Night Raw here. This definitely has become a new era in Universe Mode, but that's not just a moniker. I mean, that's what's going on. I mean, we have our former world champion is out of action. We have to determine a new #1 contender, and with all the new superstars being brought into the show, things have really been shaken up here on Raw, as Rusev goes into the cover, but Orton able to kick at it. 2 kicks out of that headbutt. And Rusev, he's looking for some retribution against Randy Orton tonight. As, look at this, Orton with a Thez press, and now hammers away at the face of Rusev. Randy Orton, he's going to need to make a tag to Ryback pretty soon. He's been in that match, in that ring for quite some time. But if you're Randy Orton, I don't know if you really want to tag in Ryback. There's definitely some trust issues there. And as well, Randy Orton, he's more of a guy who prefers to operate solo. He's not too big on being in tag teams. I mean, understandable when you've got the history that Orton does, where one of your defining moments was a member of Evolution where they stabbed you in the back. Yeah, I'd have some trust issues too if I was him. As Randy Orton kicking away at Rusev here. Just look at Randy Orton. Vicious with these kicks to the gut of Rusev. As now Rusev bounced out of the corner and a European uppercut by Randy Orton. As Orton now going to work on the leg of Rusev. He grabbed a hold of that leg and really tried to snap it out of place. Orton now throwing Rusev back into that corner. And Randy Orton. Oh, a huge clothesline there to Rusev. As he takes the super athlete down. And now Randy Orton makes a tag to Ryback. The big guy, he's back. He's in this thing for the first time in this match. And he's got history with Rusev. Of course, at Payback, Rusev and Ryback squared off in an incredibly physical contest. That match was brutal. But in the end, it was Ryback who came out on top. And I'm sure Rusev, he's still going to be feeling a lot of hatred towards Ryback for that match. Rusev, he doesn't like anybody in this matchup. Everybody's got some history with Rusev. As now, Ryback drives the knee right into the side of the head of the super athlete. And Ryback now trying to drag Rusev away from those ropes. Drags him to the center of the ring. What's Ryback looking to do here? As again, Ryback drives the knee into the side of the head of Rusev. As now Ryback going to the corner. Could perhaps be setting him up for the meat hook clothesline. Oh no! Randy Orton tagged himself into the match. And Ryback, he's going to have to get out of the ring. Well, there's some of that dissension I was talking about. Clearly, Orton and Ryback are not on the same page tonight. And now they're suffering for it. As Rusev goes to work on the Viper. Oh, a alley-oop powerbomb there. As now Orton, he's in a predicament. As Rusev now looks to capitalize on the dissension between Orton and Ryback. Driving that knee right into the face of the Viper. And here's Rusev now, dragging Orton to the center of the ring. Headbutt! The Bulgarian Brute. Just using his head there. It's definitely putting your mind to work, I suppose. But Randy Orton now, he's back to his feet. But Rusev shuts down the attempted offense from Orton. And look at this. Orton's up. Orton's down. Alabama slam by Rusev. And Rusev dragging Orton over there to the corner. Rusev up to the second rope. What the heck is Rusev looking to do? A senton from that second rope. It's not too often that Rusev goes to fly. But it's not enough to finish Orton off. Rusev putting his body on the line. But to no effect. Randy Orton, He's not done just yet. As Rusev now throws him off the ropes. Orton able to counter as he takes Rusev down. And now look at this. RKO! No! Rusev able to counter the RKO. And now he tosses Orton halfway across the ring. Rusev, he's felt the sting of that RKO before. He definitely does not want to get hit by it again. As Ryback just ducks out of the ring before Rusev can clobber him with that clothesline. But now Rusev, he's setting Orton up. Looking to maybe kick his head off. Oh, but no, wait. Randy Orton saw it coming. And he took Rusev down with a couple of clotheslines. And now a power slam by Orton. Randy Orton, he's got Rusev right where he... Oh, another tag in. This time it's Ryback who tags himself into the matchup. And, oh my god, Randy Orton! Randy Orton with an RKO out of nowhere. He just took out his own partner. Randy Orton. Well, oh wait, now it's Edge. Edge with a spear to Rusev. And you saw Edge pointing to his head, every man for himself. Edge at the end of the night, it looks like he's gonna stand tall as even Ryback gets a spear. And it's Edge who stands tall at the end of the night. This match has been thrown out the window. And well, if you had your money that Randy Orton and Ryback would be the first team to implode, I guess you guys just won some money. A few people were gambling down in the comments section below. By the way, don't be gambling. Nah, that's not a good... Don't do it. Anyways, Edge tonight. Oh, and look at this. Edge, he's even got the world title. He's celebrating like he just won the damn title. Edge, could this be a foreshadowing as to what's going to take place at Night of Champions? That's going to be it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all enjoyed it. And until next time, keep on YouTubing.